Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your continued support to our channel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Kenyan politics is full of hypocrisy and political conmanship. The Alego Usonga member of parliament, Samuel Atandi, was once a fierce critic of William Samoei Ruto, and he could take on William Ruto head on whenever he felt William Ruto was trespassing.
He didn't do CPE and etc. Na mimi nataka kumwambia kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga wakati alikuwa lecturer University of Nairobi, Ruto alikuwa anauza kuku. Na wakati Raila Amolo Odinga akaanza kupigania Wakenya, kupigania demokrasia, Ruto akaanza kuwa mwizi. Alikuwa ameiba shamba ya serikali, shamba ya mashule, na tena akakuwa muuaji. Unajua alipelekwa ICC sababu alikuwa anastakiwa kuwa alikuwa muuaji. Sasa Ruto does not have the moral standard to question the integrity of Raila Amolo Odinga. He cannot question the educational background of Raila Amolo Odinga because Raila Amolo Odinga went to top-notch universities in East Domain.
Now today, the same member of parliament is saying that he's ready to die for William Samoei Ruto. And anyone who is trying to criticize William Samoei Ruto will find himself in the very bad books of Samuel Atandi, and Samuel is warning them. Just the other day, in the burial of Raila's longest aide, Udwar, the Siaya governor, where Samuel Atandi is also coming from, criticized William Ruto in an environment where the praise and worship team were busy praising William Samoei Ruto. This didn't go down well with Sam Atandi. This is Orengo.
The police should not be used to make up trumped up charges. This young man at that time, he was in prison for 9 months on trumped up charges because he was a freedom fighter, and that's why he was being arrested and charged with the offense of murder. And I thank God that policeman, he wrote a statement in English, but somebody wrote it for him. And then when he was being questioned in court, he said, no, he didn't know. So what I'm trying to say, let us build a society which is based on the Constitution and the rule of law. We can say many things. And me, I cannot be praise singing because we fought for a democratic constitution where people should talk, where people should talk, where people should talk. I was in parliament when people used to tell Moi that Moi hakuna mahali utaenda, you will be in power until the day you want to go. They told Moi, and I was in parliament at that time, there are only a few of us who said we cannot have this system of government. And Raila was the head at that time when Jaramogi died, that we do not want that system of government. So I am asking you Kenyans, this constitution that we fought for, it is a very difficult document to keep. And if you keep on, song praising all the time, we will not have a country. So I urge you, tell your leaders the truth. Tell your leaders the truth. And know that even when, President, when you came here the first time, I was the only one who was here. I was the only one. I was here because I was convinced that institutions must work. A lot of my, even Otiende here said he cannot come. I tried to persuade him. I was here alone with you because I don't praise, song praise. I believe that you are the president and we are going to talk. So this country will go to the dogs again if the kind of language I'm hearing here, you continue with that language. Please, when you have something being brought to Siaya, it is a matter of right. It is not you are being given, it's a matter of right. It's a matter of right. All of us cannot be in government. Just fight for your right. Just fight for your right. And you'll have a better country. Asante sana kwa hayo machache. I call upon Raila Amolo Odinga to come and speak.
Now, that is something that happened outside parliament. It was during the burial of Raila's aide. Now, Samuel Atandi has been vexed and angered by those sentiments of James Orengo, and is now warning James Orengo, who is his governor, and is telling Orengo to concentrate on developing Siaya and leave alone politics around William Samoei Ruto, and is saying that if Orengo continues, then Orengo will have to contend with him because they are now shielding William Samoei Ruto, and is saying he's ready to face anyone like Orengo James who are criticizing William Samoei Ruto.
We are in government, and we are participating in creating policies for this government, and we are supporting this government inside, outside parliament, wherever we are. I want to tell my governor, the Governor James Orengo, Honorable Speaker, yes. Last weekend we were at a funeral in Siaya when the president came to condole with us. And my governor made certain remarks that were really distasteful. I want to tell Governor Orengo that Lubos were not created to stay in opposition. I know that he has been in opposition since he was born, and that there's nothing else he understands other than opposition. He is a poor manager. The country that he's supposed to run is doing badly. We want to urge him to focus on running Siaya County. That is the job he has been given to do. The affairs of the country now, the president is doing very well, he's in charge, and some of us are also holding positions that are assisting the country to move forward. Let Governor Orengo focus on Siaya affairs. Let him stop poking his noses on the affairs of national government. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, Governor Orengo is also a governor who is interested in affairs of national government and is always begging President Ruto to help him finish his projects. I am aware that he's begging the president to help him.
Honorable Atandi, let's be careful because this member is not here. That governor is not here.
I want to say that, let me conclude, Honorable Speaker, by saying that we want to plead with our members, wherever they are, that this is the moment we have to transform the country, all of us. And the appointments which the President Ruto is doing and giving to our members of ODM, especially the former organizing secretary of the ODM party, Honorable Abdisalan, who has now been made a permanent secretary. These appointments are going to help the country solidify and make our country stable, make our country prosper. And when the country prospers, it will be good for all our citizens.
Now, I listened to Samuel Atandi and I was wondering, why would he pick something that happened outside parliament and he wants to discuss it inside parliament? Just a few months ago, some months ago, Samuel Atandi defended Orengo, and he said that Orengo has got every right to speak his mind because he's a senior member of the ODM party. I don't know what has changed now.
The tragedy in our politics right now is that it appears to many people that as long as Raila is not opposing government, then there's no opposition. I think that's something which we are trying to tell people that, the role of opposition is not a Raila. Yeah. It's not a Raila-bound responsibility. Yeah. So, and also, we need to know that right now, the current constitution, that role of opposition does not exist unless we amend the constitution. The work of oversighting of the executive is done by parliament. Whether you are in a ruling party or opposition party, our work collectively as parliament is to oversight the executive. And I think that's something which most MPs are not seeing. Thirdly, Sam, we were not sent by Baba to meet President Ruto. And even the speeches that were made, statements were made by James Orengo are personal statements. They were not organized or mobilized to say so. Orengo is an independent politician of long standing, and he can air his views freely. So I don't think.
So you say you are not sent.
And that is why I was telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that indeed our Kenyan politics is full of hypocrisy and political conmanship. Samuel Atandi, if you want to know how things change, Samuel Atandi is telling us that the governments are only bad when your people are not inside. But once you find your people inside the government, it doesn't matter whatever they do, whether the government is corrupt, whether there's a lot of wastage, corruption, whether the government is butchering people, it doesn't matter. As long as you have your people, it is our time to eat, and therefore you have to protect that government.
Is that the government is only bad if you are not part of it. Yes. If you are outside, you don't have anybody who is representing your interest in that government does not talk to you, that government is bad. But the moment that government has your people inside, the way Mbadi is inside and Raymond Omolo and my brother Pewandai, the government cannot be bad. The government now is good. Now the government is good.
Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching us for the first time. Click the notification bell. Thank you very much for your continued support. Don't forget to like and share videos. What exactly is happening? I want us to look at Samuel Atandi and the sentiments against Orengo, because Orengo is the governor of Siaya County. Samuel Atandi is the member of parliament of Alego Songa. He hails from that very county. And Governor Orengo is a very senior member of ODM. Raila always needs him when votes are stolen and we need, legal giant brains in parliament or in courts. And you realize that Orengo is very important. Orengo also needs Raila Amolo Odinga. Some people argue that were it not for Raila Amolo Odinga, maybe Orengo would have not been the governor of Siaya. I don't know. It's a symbiotic kind of relationship. They both need each other. My problem is, I understand that do I say Luos are in government or some few people are in government? But must we bury our heads in the sand to the extent that we cannot criticize when things are going wrong? Even in a family, couples sometimes correct each other. You tell your wife, no, I don't think this is right. And your wife can even disagree with you. Sometimes people disagree so bitterly. They even take a day or two without talking. But they come back and say, I realize you are right. I realize you are wrong. So this idea of telling us that you cannot talk about William Ruto, you cannot pinpoint several areas of improvement or criticize is wrong, if you ask me. And you will realize that Sam Atandi now feels that he can take on James Orengo because he has been given a portfolio. Atandi is now the chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee in Parliament, a very prestigious and lucrative position. And this brings him, he feels that he's at par with James Orengo, and he can take on James Orengo. It is a kind of supremacy battle. I have heard some undertones that maybe Sam is also gearing up to face Orengo. In 2027, he wants to be the governor of Siaya. I don't know how true those sentiments are, but I've heard it from certain quarters. So, Sam Atandi feels that Orengo cannot talk about William Samoei Ruto when he is there. He will take on him because right now, the position where Sam Atandi is comes with a lot of privileges. That's why people who hold such positions that are very powerful, even the PAC, Parliamentary Accounts Committee, those are positions which are very lucrative. So because of the supremacy battle in Siaya, Sam Atandi is now telling Orengo, I don't fear you and don't dare speaking about William Samoei Ruto. The only thing I agree with him is that in as much as Orengo is politicking, he must also ensure that Siaya is developed. Politics and development must go hand in hand. I don't like leaders who engross so much in politicking and forget about the developments in their areas. Like Ndini Nyoro was saying the other day, that you can spend too much time fixing politics rather than fixing the economy. So I agree with him on that. But I disagree with him on the mere fact that he feels that when they are in government, we should not criticize William Samoei Ruto. William Ruto is paid by all Kenyans. All Kenyans pay taxes. And so they must not shield William Ruto from other people. They must allow others to protect William Samoei Ruto. The other thing that, bothers me, Raila has always maintained that they are not in government. But you can see Sam Atandi is now saying that they are part and parcel of the government. They will not allow anyone to criticize William Samoei Ruto. This kind of hypocrisy is wrong. We should embrace a kind of leadership that will commend you when you do something that is right, but at the same time criticize when things are wrong. Leaders grow by criticism. I cannot rule out the possibility of Raila telling Atandi, ebu muonyeshe kidogo. How can he show disrespect to Ruto? Because that happened in Raila's backyard where Raila's head was being buried. So I would even imagine that maybe Raila cannot tell Orengo directly that, you know, mister, it is not good to criticize William Ruto when it comes to our region. So maybe Atandi was sent. Or maybe Atandi just decided that I cannot stomach James Orengo talking to William Ruto in the manner in which he did. So out of his own volition, he just decided, I must bring Orengo to order. But there is another possibility, ladies and gentlemen, that people like Kimani Chungwa, the Ruto henchmen, those very allies from the UDA, but I've called him and told him, ule jamaa aliongea mbaya. Kwa nini tusimwonyeshe? Because you've realized that William Ruto has got an allergy towards criticism. Anyone who criticizes him must face his wrath. The Butere girls, people like Malala, some governors who are not towing the line must be shown, you know, that it is either his way or the highway. So maybe these people just told him, go and tell James Orengo that we are not going to tolerate him. And lastly, there is a possibility that the Luo Nyanza leaders have decided that for the period between now and 2027, we want to lie low. We want to milk this cow, because I've heard them say that they've been outside government for so long and therefore there are certain development projects that they've never received. We are in a very toxic system where if you are not reading from the same script as the government, the powers that be, then you are denied development. You are denied your rightful shares. And this is something that has been perpetuated over and over again. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua, before they disagreed with William Ruto, used to tell people that this is a government of shareholders. So you are given according to your shares. So maybe the Luo Nyanza members of parliament have decided that now we have to lie low. Wacha tukunye maziwa mpaka 2027, tutaangalia vile kutaenda. But I will tell you, things are not easy for William Ruto. I know there are people who will sing the praises and they want to blindfold him that everything is okay. I had a certain governor, I don't know, in Kajiado, telling William Ruto that this Ruto must go thing is only happening in Mount Kenya. It is a lie. They want to pretend that William Ruto is unwanted because he's a Kalenjin. No, we don't care. But then we should have a country where we don't care who is in power. All we want is someone who delivers. If the university funding model is working, it's okay. If the SHA is working, it's okay. If you stop abductions, it's okay. If you improve the lives of our people, it's okay. If investors are coming back and you are creating employment opportunities, it is okay. If the report from the Auditor General is saying that the government is using our money appropriately, it is okay. If the government stops listening to the international community, the Bretton Woods institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, it is okay. This idea of telling William Ruto that you're unwanted because you're a Kalenjin is a fallacy that must stop. And people must look at William Ruto the way James Orengo did and tell him this is wrong. It's not like people hate William Ruto. We hate the manner in which he is governing this country. This country does not belong to one person. It belongs to all of us. And if you realized, people were cheering on Orengo as he was criticizing William Ruto at the heart of Luo Nyanza. Edwin Sifuna also did the same, and he told William Ruto, these are problems that are self-inflicted and we are not going to sympathize with you. And people were still cheering on the leaders who are criticizing Ruto. When people cheer on in front of Raila as Ruto is being criticized, it tells you that people are tired. It tells you that come 2027, it's not going to be a rosy affair. It's not going to be a walk in the park. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of hypocrisy, where because you are not in government, the government is bad. When you get into government, now it is good despite all the atrocities and corruption in the government. To me, it is wrong and we must stand against this. And I don't know what you think, but we need to have a country where things are happening and leaders are telling the president the truth at all times.